Coming to paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this all-new Spinsterella story. Pre-order your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. Social media influencer Aaron the Plumber says that every black man needs to do 90 days in prison in order to be a man.
Every black man, I feel like when they turn 18 years old, bro, send them to prison.
Social media influencer Aaron the Plumber says that every black man needs to do 90 days in prison in order to be a man. Now, Aaron the Plumber, who is infamously known from making an appearance on the Pop the Balloon show and an entire scandal around him looking to try to get money as related to him allegedly losing his job as a result of making an appearance on said show, is now making another controversial statement on social media saying that every young black boy who turns 18 years old needs to do 90 days in prison in order to become a man. And this entire statement shows me why Aaron the Plumber's 15 minutes of fame need to be over sooner rather than later. Now, Aaron the Plumber again came to popularity after making an appearance on the extremely ignorant Pop the Balloon show, and as he made this appearance on the Pop the Balloon show, he basically embarrassed himself as he was looking for a date, and after going on that show, he made the allegation that he wound up losing his job as a result of being on the Pop the Balloon show. However, as people like myself did the research, we found that Aaron the Plumber really wasn't what he was saying, as looking to get sympathy from people with a GoFundMe. And as he looked to get sympathy for people with this GoFundMe, which raised over $15,000, Aaron the Plumber was basically shown to be a fraud as related to his whole statements of losing his job as a plumber, because when it came down to the job of a plumber, again, plumbers are protected by unions, and if they make appearances on shows like social media, this would not be a ground for termination, and there would be action taken by the union. But this didn't stop Aaron the Plumber from making these statements, because Aaron the Plumber basically wants to get attention to become a celebrity on social media, and that's what he's looking to do here with this statement, which is looking to again go out here and promote dysfunction among young black boys that will not lead to them becoming men, but lead to those boys growing up to become men in crisis. Because 90 days in jail are not going to transform a boy's life to make him into a man. No, 90 days in jail are going to put a boy on a road to being a man in crisis, and it's going to put him on a road to being a man in crisis because he is going to experience traumas inside of that jail where he will suffer as a result of having to deal with the authority of the COs, where these COs basically are harsh on the inmates, and they're harsh on the inmates, telling them when to get up, telling them when to eat, telling them when to wash, telling them what to do, and everything inside of that penitentiary or that jail is strictly supervised. And those boys, again, have to endure not only the abuse of the authority of the COs, but they'll also have to go out here and deal with the social pecking order of Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, and have to deal with these men, putting them through traumas such as these men sacrificing their intangibles of manhood, such as their dignity, their self-respect, and their freedom just to get something to eat because they serve inmates slop in the cafeteria, and because they serve them slop in the cafeteria, they wind up having to go and sacrifice their dignity because they really don't make much money in the penitentiary, if they do at all. Because Mr. Chris from Chris and Company told me all about how many inmates, what happens to them is they wind up working for no wages in some cases for many of these major corporations, and they wind up working again for anywhere from 10 cents to $1 an hour. And this is what leads to those young males basically having to deal with older lifers who will go out here and trade their dignity and their front sides and their back sides for some of the commissary I have mentioned in many videos, such as Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, off-brand grape drink, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand orange drink, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand apple juice, off-brand lemon lime drink, and off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, packets of Velveeta cheese, packets of soy sauce, packets of sriracha sauce, prison chips, Hunt snack pack puddings, honey mustard. I mean, these young men have to wind up trading their dignity inside of these penitentiaries, and that doesn't make a young man into a man. No, those traumas make that boy on the road to becoming a man in crisis. But that really doesn't matter to Aaron the Plumber, who is just a dysfunctional black male, who is all about getting attention for himself, all about making himself into an online celebrity, again, looking to milk that 15 minutes of fame that he basically got from being a pookie on screen, as related to saying that he's this plumber and this good man, but doesn't know anything about manhood, doesn't know anything about masculinity, doesn't know anything about being a man. And the main reason he doesn't know anything about being a man is because he didn't have his father in his life to teach him how to be a man, because Aaron the Plumber, again, didn't get any of the basic male life skills or basic male survival skills that would help him to be able to do things like navigate through his emotions and not get into fights online or get argumentative with women or even make appearances on dysfunctional programs like the Pop the Balloon show. Because what Aaron the Plumber, again, wanted to do is try to make us believe he's a good man, but he basically shows me with his actions he's a man in crisis, and shows me he's even worse than a man in crisis. He's basically leading men to go down a road to dysfunction with his dysfunctional advice that would destroy the life of any boy who followed it. Any boy who followed Aaron the Plumber would be basically going down a sewer of dysfunction, where they would go to prison for 90 days. And nobody can go to prison for 90 days. You can go to jail for 90 days, but you go to prison for years. And people who come out of prison usually aren't the same. No, they aren't the same as related to that situation, because that's not the place where you learn how to be a man. No, the place you learn how to be a man is at the side of your father. It is your father who helps you learn how to be a man, because he's there to model manhood for you. He is there to show you an example of masculinity. He is there to show you an example of how a man carries and conducts himself. And having a father in your life will help you how to become a man. That's how I learned how to become a man, at the side of my father and my older brother. They were the men who taught me how to be a man, and I didn't have to do any time in prison in order to learn how to be a man and function as a man. So when I listen to Aaron the Plumber, I see a blind person leading the blind and taking a lot of young black boys straight down a road to a ditch where their lives will basically be in a place where they'll wind up going nowhere. And that's one of the reasons why many of these social media platforms give guys like Aaron the Plumber a platform, and again use their algorithms to accelerate him on their platforms. They use him to accelerate on their platforms because many of these companies, again, like YouTube, again, use guys like this in their algorithm to go out here and promote an anti-black agenda, where they want to, again, influence boys to believe in this type of misinformation, that can basically destroy their lives to the point where these young boys start thinking this foolishness about, having to go to prison to become a man. No, that's not how you become a man. No, you become a man by reading the Word of God. You learn how to become a man by reading the Word of God first, because the Word of God will teach you all of God's instructions as related to becoming a man, because God made the man first. He made the man to be his head. He made the man to be a steward, and a responsible steward like myself is going to try to educate the young brothers to understand their roles as men. And a responsible steward is going to sit there and talk to you and let you know you don't have to go to prison for 90 days in order to become a man. No, you just need to have your father in your life. And if you don't have your father in your life, you need to be surrounded by responsible, conscientious men who will go out here and teach you the foundations of manhood as related to the tangible roles of a man, intangible roles of a man's character, such as his dignity, his self-respect, because a man who has dignity understands his worth as a man. A man who has self-respect understands his value as a man, and a man who understands these intangibles understands his freedom has the highest value, and you don't want to sacrifice your freedom to go and spend time inside of one of these prisons, because that's not a place where you learn how to be a man, because you're going to be not surrounded by men, but you're going to be surrounded by beta males like Aaron the Plumber, beta males who don't know anything about manhood, don't know anything about masculinity, don't know anything about what it means to be a man. No, when it comes to Aaron the Plumber, this is a male, like Dondra T. Whitfield has talked about. This is a textbook example of a male and not a man, because a man understands his role in God's order. A man understands his role in stewardship, in being responsible for the teaching and preparation of manhood in other men, and understands that a prison is the last place where you can learn how to be a man, because many of the males there are stuck in a state of arrested development, where they still are physically a grown man, but have the mental age of an adolescent, and don't understand that when it comes to being a man is about, again, being that leader, being that authority figure, being that role model for other young brothers, that will show young men what it means to be a man, show them what it means to be a man on the inside, because being a man on the inside is about taking responsibility for yourself, taking responsibility for your role as a steward and in God's order, taking responsibility to be not only a leader as related to, again, being ahead with power, but also taking responsibility to teach the young brothers what they need to know to survive in this world, because you've lived in this world, and as you've lived in this world, you come to an understanding that you don't want the young brothers to wind up in a situation where they wind up doing 90 days in prison, because 90 days in prison will break a young brother. Not only will it break the brother, but it will also lead to that young brother being in a situation being in a situation where what will happen to that young brother is their whole life will be destroyed. Their whole life will be destroyed because once you get a felony conviction on your record, it makes it even nigh impossible for you to get a job because it's already hard enough for it is for a young heterosexual black man to be able to get one of these jobs. It's already hard enough as it is if you have no record. But once you get a record, and I know this because I worked in job readiness over 25 years ago, if you get a felony conviction on your record, it becomes next to impossible for you to be able to find work anywhere in this country. I mean, yeah, they talk about how they have laws on the books that say this is not the case, but in the system of white supremacy, when it comes down to a young black man can wind up in a place where he gets on do not hire lists and basically is done at this point. And that's the whole thing that Aaron the Plumber is misleading young brothers on as related to this road. Again, this guy basically is doing the dirty work of the white supremacists straight for them. This guy is, again, a useful idiot for the white supremacists, a useful idiot going out here promoting narratives and promoting anti-black messages that will basically mislead young brothers as related to life. This is not how you become a man. No, as I wrote about in my book, The Man Crisis, this is how you become a man in crisis, because what happens is beta males mislead beta males with misinformation. Beta males mislead other beta males, and again, it's like the blind leading the blind straight into a ditch. It's like the blind leading the blind straight into a ditch with their stupidity, because this goes beyond ignorance. Again, an ignorant person, again, they just don't know. A dumb person doesn't understand, but a stupid person, what they will do, because they know better but will still go on, is go out here and mess up other people. And that's what Aaron the Plumber is doing, misleading other people, continuing on promoting his platform of dysfunction, being a modern day minstrel. Again, a modern day minstrel who is basically fueled by these algorithms on social media, fueled to mislead our youngest and best and brightest brothers and sisters. And this is where men of God like myself and men who care about the community or who are about black people, we've got to step up and again push back against this spellbound black male who hopes to mesmerize a lot of black people into fitting into a black box that will destroy our young men and our young boys. Again, this stupid person, again, this is what a textbook casebook of stupidity. Again, this is why stupid people are dangerous. Stupid people are dangerous because, again, they know, but then they mislead others into believing that they have solutions when all they're doing is doing the dirty work of the white supremacists, to fit black people into black boxes where they will be acceptable to white people and stigmatize young black men by putting a mark on them as related to their record and their reputation that destroys them later on. Because once you, again, I'll repeat it once more from my years of working in job readiness, once you get a felony conviction, it becomes next to impossible for you to get a job if you're a heterosexual black man. You don't want to do any time in prison. No, you want to go out here and get yourself into things like the skilled trades. You want to go out here and go into places like the military. Now, I don't really recommend college for most of the young brothers because colleges don't really open many doors. I got a college degree and it didn't open many doors, but I understand there are different things that will open doors for people. And again, these doors can be open to you if you maintain your intangibles of manhood, like your dignity, your self-respect, and most importantly, your freedom. Because if you have your freedom, you can learn from other men. You can learn male life skills from other men outside of your father, and those men can sharpen you to become a better man, than this online grifter, Aaron the Plumber. This is what I'm calling him. This is just my opinion. This online grifter who basically wants to use his 15 minutes of fame to generate controversy, and again generate controversy in order to keep his name out there and keep the money coming in from social media. This grifter wants to make money at the expense of our brothers and sisters, and that's where we have to draw the line. That's where we have to draw the line as related to our boys and helping them to become men, because the last thing I want to see is young brothers on the road to being like Aaron the Plumber, who after his 15 minutes of fame will be over, he will wind up being a man in crisis who sacrificed his dignity like he did when he faced one of these transgender and alphabet individuals in a video that went viral and other embarrassing sites. This man is on a road to being trying to be infamous, but will wind up going out in an ignominious fashion, because once white supremacy finishes with its gestures and its tools, they break these tools. And again, this guy basically is a laughingstock to many of the white supremacists out here. They're laughing at this dude because they know that he's willfully and intentionally misleading people. They know he's setting black men up for a road where they're not going to be men, but be the punchline of white supremacy's cruel joke. Be the punchline of a cruel joke where they will go from being men to winding up becoming men whose lives are completely ruined as they wind up becoming men in crisis. Now, if you want to learn how to identify the dysfunctional behavior of beta males like Aaron the Plumber, so you can avoid these individuals, or if they're in your family, help those people break out of that pattern, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to learn how to identify the behavior of simps like Aaron the Plumber so that you don't wind up getting messed up like he is, you can pick up my books in my men's issues series like Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, Stop Simping in the Workplace, and most importantly, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, which will help you learn how to identify online grifters like this. All of those books are available on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. They are also available at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos taking online dysfunctional people like Aaron the Plumber to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteem Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed all-new Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteem Season of the Witch Girl at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA, from the Black Boule, in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.